We're good. I think.
We good? All right. Oh, now we're good. I can't remember what color shirts I've been wearing. I know I have 6 different colors. I know this is week 4 though, so I am wearing my Terrible Wrestling Takes podcast. Go talk to Bishop if you want one of these beauties. He'll hook you up with a good deal. Don't use hashtag bad cop fell. That's long gone, long gone. Matt, that was an
Yes,
awesome
mate.
record with Justin. That was so
Oh,
much fun.
it is.
I'm glad we took a slight break in between. I had tears rolling down my face again. It was good. We agreed on certain things and we disagreed on certain things, and we were never quite sure when it was going to happen. It kept me on my toes a little bit. No, that was good. All good
Isn't
stuff.
isn't that what good cop, bad cop supposed to be about?
Absolutely. Hey, so I want to talk to you about a couple of things. Last week's episode, I kind of spitballing a little bit. I told you about CFU. I told you about could sponsor an event. I thought about doing it
Yeah.
for MTV, and I was like, hey, I should go ahead and just do it for Visionaries Global Media. It's happening. I put out the tweet. We're good. I hooked up with Mayday, figured it out how we're going to do this. We've got the match. We have Lady Frost, who obviously I think everybody who's on the network is big fans of. And I apologize, I cannot remember the first name of her opponent, but it's listed as Frost versus Mason. I was like, this is like screaming out of us, like, hey, you got to go ahead and you got to sponsor this match. So I already saw they did the mock-ups for us. It looks great. I'm really excited to watch. There is an outside chance, a very, very outside chance, I might drive up to New Jersey to go see that match. I am thinking about it.
Meg Mason Graham.
Mm-hmm. Meg Mason. I just couldn't remember. I should have looked it up ahead of time. So yeah, I believe we get a shout out on commentary as well, and it'll just be cool to get that logo up there, and hopefully people will be watching who perhaps might not know, and suddenly be like, "Oh, Vision is Global Media." I remember seeing it for other podcasts. I'm like, "Oh, I listened to that podcast." It is really cool when you see those other names up there. So glad to support CFU. Glad to support Lady Frost and Meg Mason and Visionaries Global Media. This is just a good cop moment all around. This is good as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure MGB will do a review when it finally comes out. We reviewed the first show and it was really good.
I will do this adjective promotion work, Graham. There we go.
Just like that. There we go. Yeah, isn't that nice? I like that.
Remind me of Frost versus Nixon sort of advert, which is good. I'm looking forward to that. Lady Frost, as we know, is fantastic. Looking forward to what we do there for sure. It's just, does it feel, Graham, like things are almost back to normal? The amount of stuff that is back to almost pre-pandemic. And yet, at the same time, not.
I'm going to say no. I was back at school this week, as you well know, which is why you have editing duties, and it's been crazy. Already in neighbouring counties, there's certain schools that have already had to go back to virtual. One high school I know in a county a couple down from us has already closed and is going to remain closed for 2 weeks. And the cases in our county are as high as they've ever been. Obviously, the death rate is probably the more significant one than strictly the number of cases. Right now, our hospitals are pretty good, but we're in a relatively low area for our state in general. But a lot of states are suffering, particularly Florida and Texas are really suffering in certain areas. So I'm at the point where this is why I said I'm trying to. I can't physically go to Voltage Wrestling this week. I would have liked to have done, but I am kind of thinking of scaling back as the number of cases. I've heard in England it's starting to rise again as well, though. Particularly, my parents live in Cornwall. Obviously, summer holidays, lots of people go down to Cornwall. It's kind of jam-packed, but those levels are really high down there as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little too early for me to say everything's returning to normal.
Well, I didn't mean everything was completely normal. I just say things feel more normal because we got your wrestling back, football's returned with crowds. As I said on the main show, I'm seeing my family. All of them in the same place for the first time since before the pandemic. It's amazing how much we took things for granted beforehand. Are we at the woods yet? No, we're not at the woods yet. To be fair, the case we're getting on average about 30,000 cases a day of COVID for the whole country. Now, that does sound like a lot, and I'll deny it's not a small amount. However, the number we're looking at now is more of a hospitalizations of it.
Yeah.
And of those 30,000, you're getting maybe sometimes single figures
Yeah.
of people being put into the hospital. Is the Delta variant more contagious? Yes. Is it going to stop you from contracting the virus? Sometimes you will go down with it again, even when you're vaccinated. But vaccine will stop you from dying from it or being hospitalized with it.
It will dramatically reduce the chances. Yeah, like the
Exactly.
percentage figures, it's the people who are in those hospitalizations are generally people who have not been unvaxxed. And it's really sad when you've seen the stories of people who are on their deathbed and trying to get that vaccine. And it's like, look, it's too late now. You just left it too late. There are people who are putting a positive, they realize their life has gone, but they are saying, hey, look, you need to go take this. We were wrong. We thought it was, we underestimated it.
We
And
thought it was the flu and it's not.
yeah, yeah. Thankfully, I would say it has got FDA approval over here now. I think it's called. I don't think even it's called Pfizer anymore. I think it's called Community, or it kind of sounds like Community, but it's yeah, it's like an official drug now, or it's got its own brand name or whatever. So
Yeah,
I have seen friends on Facebook this week who I know of who actually thought had the vaccine, who've said, "Hey, now it's approved. We've taken it. Go get it yourself as well."
absolutely. I recommend everyone go to get it, obviously. And that's one of the things for when you rock up at EGX when we go in October. You have to have proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. Me, Alex, and Kerry are going to have all of that. We're all double vaccinated, but we're also going to do a lateral flow beforehand anyway, just to keep everyone happy. We don't have to do that. We're not legally obliged to, but we're going to do that anyway because it just helps. It's just better that way.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
so yeah. About as I gave normal. I mean, from last year, there was no hope of going to a video game convention. This year we are. So
Yeah.
little things like that. It's all good.
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, going back to school, seeing students who I hadn't seen in nearly 2 years, seeing some students who I had worked with online last year, and it did kind of feel going back into the car park, just going into the like not 9 to 5, obviously that's not our hours, but just that general feel of people returning, getting into a routine, and yeah, I think the students were appreciative of, and I think some of them want to kind of get back to some sense of normalcy as well. We'll just have to see how well that actually works. For all the people who were saying like, "Hey, what the students don't have their mat?" The students are actually the ones who are pretty good at that. Like some of them might need a little reminder, like they'll forget, or some of them are ill-fitting and then they'll slip and then they just. But yeah, everything I've seen so far has been really good, so that's great to know.
What else you want to talk about, Graham?
The only thing I was going to talk to you about was, well, actually, I had one other thing, but I'm gonna push that to the side. I don't think it's one of the bigger issues. The walk that you're doing this month. I know that we talked about your weight loss battle and the fact that it went on hold a little bit and it didn't quite work. And I said I was going to try and support you in this by I was going to try and do. I haven't been doing 11,000. I've been doing 10,000. But some days I've been doing more than that as well. But one day, I don't know if I told you, I actually went out in the pouring rain just to make sure I could keep that streak going. It was torrential rain for like the last 6 hours of the day, and I was like, I don't care. I'm going to get out there, and I'm glad I did. I actually lost 10 pounds this month. And I was actually thinking, I'm going to be curious. Obviously, I see you each week, so you probably don't notice it as much. But I'm going to be curious to see if I look back at perhaps some of the earlier videos, when I can see if I'm a little thinner in the face. I don't know, but I still have a long way to go. I put on more weight than I should have done as well. I've still got to lose another 20 pounds before I'm back to when I was last in England, but it's a start. It's a step in the right direction. My eating habits are a lot better. My appetite has amazingly decreased, even though I'm working sort of far harder doing those 10,000, 11,000 steps. So although I was originally just thinking, hey, I'll do it for 1 month because you would do it, it's fine. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going into September. I'm going to see how many consecutive days I can do it. But it's kind of become my routine now that I am going to keep doing 10,000 steps, 11,000 steps, and so on. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, lockdown's been a lot hard on all of us, Graham, in terms of putting weight on everything. And yeah, I'm doing 11,000 steps a day from September the 1st. So that's this coming Wednesday it starts. a lot of people have been very gracious and lovely and donated to me already. I was trying to raise £150. So far, I'm at 110 already.
It can't be a round number because when I donated, it was in dollars, so that's probably totally messed it up.
It's not actually, Graham. It's it rounded to a 5.
Ah.
So it rounded it thanks to because you can't do gift aid, Graham, because you're not a UK taxpayer.
Or not, yeah.
So it's rounded it to a 5. So as of right now, it's 110 out of 150, which is amazing. I haven't even started yet. Yeah, and the main part of that is my fam haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
On that, and they will, which is amazing. So thank you everybody who has donated, and I might even send Graham the link so he can pop it in the description underneath if you want to donate to help
do that. Yes,
to help fight prostate cancer for sure. Say it's equivalent to doing 150 miles in a month. So £11 a day. It shouldn't. If I need, and people say like, well, you do a lot of walking at work. I do, but then when I'm not at work, I mean, my birthday, I did 58 steps.
Yeah. I had a couple of days when it was like seriously, like I thought once I get back to school I'd be walking a lot, and I haven't walked as much as I thought I would. And I came home and it's like 2,000 steps, and it's now sorry for carrying on again, but Jay started his new elementary school this week, and he was a little bit nervous. There is a tenuous link, I'll get to it in a second. He was a little bit nervous. He's a little bit shy, particularly when it's obviously a brand new school, doesn't know the students there at all, doesn't know the teachers. And they took him to his new teacher. His new teacher is a wrestling fan. She saw his wrestling shirt day one, and she made it known that she's a big wrestling fan. She watched SummerSlam, and she has her ID badge is on a John Cena lanyard as well. So I'm like, perfect. He's loving his new school, so he's going to be good. There's a big line of cars as you go to pick them up at the end of the day, or if I want to go and pick him up from the after daycare help thing. I live it's actually near to a nature trail. I actually park half a mile away from where the school is, go to the parking lot, walk 1,000 steps to where his school is, pick him up, and then we walk back through the little nature trail as well. So I've been getting an extra couple of 1,000 steps each day just from picking him up. It's been beautiful. We've had great weather this week. There's like dragonflies there, there's butterflies, there's birds. It's beautiful. Once the weather I am worried once it gets to like.
Let's see what happens when the snow and the rain and the hail and the hurricanes blow in.
Yeah, I did do that walk, like I said, in torrential rain that one day, and we had a couple this week when it was thunderstorms as well. I'm like, this is gonna be tough. We're gonna have to try and find time to get out there. Yeah, some days when you're just tired from work and you're like, I just want to sit and watch TV. It's tough. I actually talked with Mason on the video. My biggest change has been I used to, if I woke up in the morning, I would watch the videos. Like I'd catch up on SmackDown, I'd catch up, last couple of weeks, catch up on Rampage, and then I would go for a walk. Now I watch those videos on YouTube as I am walking. So I'm kind of multitasking. I'm getting a couple of things done at once. And time flies by when you're walking. So you might have already thought of your plan to when you've got to do those, if you've got several thousand steps left at the end of the day. But yeah, strongly going to recommend music, podcasts, audiobooks, video, all of the above, Chris, whatever it is. But yeah, something that can distract you a little bit. And those steps go by really quick, actually.
For sure. If you think of something worth listening to this weekend when you're doing your steps, try to check out Chris Talks Games would be a perfect one to go and check out.
I did say there was one game. I said, if you guys review it, then make sure you tag me. I'm really interested.
Yes, Chris. Yes, I did make a mistake on the show. See, he piped up all of a sudden. Now talk about his show. I made a mistake on his show this week.
It's quite hilarious.
Yes, it's hilarious.
Is it Christmas cracker worthy, Chris?
Is it Christmas cracker worthy?
Yeah.
Yes, he says.
Ooh.
It's not going to be. Right. Because I edited the Christmas crackers, remember? And I've got a lot of things to try and fit into 25 this year.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be an alternative Christmas cracker again this year.
I can't do it on this show. I can't do that.
Well, you could.
11 games into a top 10 is quite impressive, though.
Shut up, you! You E.T. As usual, banter. I love bantering with fantastic. It's so much
So,
fun.
in summary, though, I am really thankful that you are doing that walk because it kind of got me walking again. Like, I like walking, but I haven't been doing it consistently enough. And my aim was actually just to lose very low expectations because I said you got to keep it reasonable. I was going for half a pound a week. So I was like, that's manageable. If I have a bad week, I can do it just fine. And then in a year's time, when I hopefully I'll come back to England next summer, I'll be back at the weight that I was when I was last in England. So I'm obviously way ahead of that right now. 10 pounds in about 4 weeks.
And then the following spring, Graham.
And then the following spring as well. We hope.
No,
Fingers
you are.
crossed.
You are. You have to.
I don't know when our schedules are. I don't know if that lines up at all. So we'll have to see.
It's during spring break. I checked.
Okay. Well, it's during your spring break. We only have 1 week, so.
Yeah, but it's spring break. I checked.
It depends which one. It falls at Easter's on a Sunday. You do realize that? That's a weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just checking. You realize that I'm not flying over if it's just for a weekend.
No.
I can't do that. But if it encapsulates the full week, then it's possible.
It'd be fine. Be fine. I didn't feel like much else to talk about, Graham, really, because we've talked about most of it on the actual show, all the three spoilers.
Yeah.
And apart from that, I'm now halfway through maybe even 3/4 way through season 3 of Next Generation now.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen the part where Tasha Yar comes back for one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone saying spoilers is 1989. Get over it. I was 5, but. Yeah, and so I was just in the one with Data and his child. That was quite a thought-provoking episode.
Yeah.
A lot of questions about morals and about rights and things like that, and there's a lot of things hidden away you don't think about.
If you like the aspect of asking questions, but in kind of a storytelling way, so you're not the one that I really like.
It's not ramming it through your face.
The one I actually like is Deep Space Nine. They kind of talk about aspects of religion, obviously, but without talking directly about religions on Earth, with it being set in space. But they bring up some kind of interesting issues as well. I thought that series was probably asked the bigger questions, but I think Star Trek Next Generation is probably the better show in general.
There is one exception though. That was in season 1, where they're talking about 2 planets who both claim to this one drum of medicine, and it turns out what they are is just drug addicts, and Tasha actually gives a just say no speech to Wesley.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't actually say just say no, but it is a just say no speech. That's the only time I've actually seen them actually hammer home a point in an episode before.
At that point, that was a very big kind of storyline in like Reagan's America, Bush's America. That was one of those big stories, the war against drugs, and within schools over here, it was a really big thing. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they took on aspects of things that were important in popular culture at that time and made them relevant for that show. Yeah, obviously they've always done that. Obviously, the original show, like Lieutenant Uhura, to have an African American woman as I think 4th in command. I know one of the proper trekkers are going to kill me for this because it's not 4, but like super high up, like at that time, and to also have like an Asian representative, to have a Russian representative alongside American, like that whole idea of harmony. Like at the time, that was in the 60s. That was like way ahead of its time. So yeah, they always do try and address those social issues, and I think that's one of the things that makes it probably more palatable when it's in the form of a story. I think people can probably see that aspect much better when it's a little too close to home in reality. So
I love Guinan too.
Oh, because you didn't know who that was at that time. Because you asked me who I thought your favorite people were. I said Guinan. Yeah, Guinan's a great character.
Yeah. She's at the end of the day, she will quite often she's this is a reference that will mean nothing to you, but to be reference to a lot of other people. But Guinan is the Ernie of that series. Ernie from Power Rangers had the same sort of role in Power Rangers. He ran the juice bar and gave sage-like advice to the team. So that was that. So there always needs to be someone like a Guinan in a show for it to be successful, I think, to deal with the real world issues that aren't being dealt with in the fantastical things of space and stuff. So I think it works that way. Do you agree?
What do you think about chefs being obsolete in the future?
Well, to be fair,
they just have the replicators at this point.
To be fair, the replicator is synthetic, but it's not real food. As proven when they had the chef on when they were trying to when it turned out she was actually trying to kill someone with a virus. That was an episode I just finished watching. She's a chef and she's over tasting for the High Countess, whatever her name is. So many different names for it, but yeah. Chefs will always be required there whilst I'm alive anyway.
I'm trying to remember how many years it's set in the future. Isn't it like 22 something? I think that shows.
24th century.
Oh, okay, all right. So 2300s. Okay, yeah. We can see signs of it right now. Like there's like the pills that some of the astronauts take, so they can get not everything, but for some of the supplements, and we can see it coming. It's possible. Yep. I think still always eating food though.
Not as good
experience.
They're going to be as good as a fat, juicy steak, Graham.
Yeah. I know to stay quiet on steaks. My takes on steaks are not very good.
Takes on steaks are.
I like well done, which is apparently butchering the steak from what I've heard. I'm going to get muted, aren't I? Uh-oh. You were going.
I can't mute you, Graham, because my mother-in-law likes a well done steak.
Yeah. And I'm not.
I may have inadvertently called her out for it last time I saw her as well. So I said, anyone who doesn't like a medium rare steak is an idiot, and then she gave me the look. She gave me the look.
I had noticed that the wrestling community likes it raw, or certainly on that side, close to rare. I apologize. Not raw. I apologize. Rare. My stepdad, when he comes over here, and I think it's only to wind up my mom, and I think I might have told you this before. When the server asks him like, "How do you like your steak cutting?" Saw the horns off, wipe its ass, and put it on a plate. And I think he just does that to embarrass my mom each time.
I'm using that, Graham. I'm using that.
So,
Chris, remind me next time we go for steak, I've got to ask, how do you want the steak? Cut the horns off, wipe it off, and put it on a plate. Bang. Chris giving me I'm getting a look now.
You like it, though.
The same look his mother gave me.
It does make the servers always laugh each time. I guess I don't know how common a phrase it is. I don't know where he got it from, but it's I always find it amusing just because it embarrasses my mom each time.
We don't really cook.
Basically serve it raw. Basically, is what it's saying.
Yeah.
To be fair, my sister-in-law likes blue steak, and well, yeah. I don't agree with blue steak personally, but that's her choice, and she's entitled to have blue steak, even if I won't.
Absolutely. I know I have one other thing. I'm going to talk to you. I'm just going to ask you right now. MGB is going to be interesting for the next few weeks. We recorded 2 episodes. I think I told you on the show today beforehand. So Mason, I'm kind of like, I think MGB is kind of coming to an end at some point because like it's me doing most of the work and he just turns up, does his bit, and then he leaves. So I actually said to him, I said, look, you need to do something. And he actually did. That's why we recorded a second episode. He found something for us to review, and I kind of want to put it back on him. I do have an idea that will be a little different for MGB, and I said, we said on air, I said, I'm going to probably ask somebody to listen ahead of time, see what they think. So we might be giving you a sneak preview of possibly a new version of MGB to listen to. I know we've done it with other people before, but it could be changing a little bit just to mix things up, but also to get Mason. He needs to be involved with it a little bit more. MGB Graham tweeted about this yesterday. We haven't put the list out yet. I actually got Mason a cameo from Chris Van Vliet. Just for the fact that it was the end of the first week of 8th grade and cameos were on offer. There was 25% off, and I was looking on the wrestlers, and I saw Chris Van Vliet, and that's somebody who actually follows Mason as well. So I was like, oh, he's a really cool guy. All the interviews I've seen him on are really nice. So I basically said, hey, can you give like a positive message about being in school? Any tips for being a podcaster? And he was really nice. He did the cameo in like 20 minutes. Like, I sent it on my phone and I looked and it came. I was like, he's done it already. I was like, oh my gosh. So Mason was upstairs, so he hadn't gone to bed at that time. So I showed it to him. He had a big smile on his face, and it was it was kind of a nice way to finish the week. So
it's a little thing like that, long sometimes.
That's what I figured. I was like, it's been kind of a long week, but I was like, hey, that might be a good way to a familiar face. I believe Chris Van Vliet was one of the original ones from the very early MGBs that you remember when we used to do Podcast of the Week. I think a few of those interviews that he did were actually appeared on there. So it's somebody who was very respectful and did a great cameo, really good. Because we've talked about this before. Some of them literally do like 20 seconds. And then that's it. And some of them, like Effie for You, went to a lot of effort and kind of went with the story, and they can be very entertaining. And you don't really know what you're going to get until you get it. But no, it was really good. I certainly thanked him online for doing that as well.
For sure. And really priced that as well, whereas Undertaker was doing literally $2,000 for literally 30 seconds.
Yeah.
For that, I want dinner and a drink.
Some of those have gone up massively. Like Danhausen, I got one for the network for, I think it was like $5. I know it was a special. He's up to like 50, I think now. Nick Gage is 50. He was only about 15 recently. I think Effie's gone up to about 25 now. I think I saw as well. So it's good to see some of those. Absolutely, but it was nice to kind of see some of those wrestlers who might not have been as so well known are actually can raise their prices because they're actually in demand. MJF's, I think, was the most expensive. I can't remember how much it was. It was something like 600. I was like, oh my God.
Too much for sure.
I think Undertaker was possibly more, but obviously his is not available right now. If you have that sort of money, then good for you. But yeah, but somebody who's only on the Indies a few years ago, and he's already It was interesting to see what some people think their values were.
For sure. I have a question, Graham, seeing as how you're talking about old episodes of MGB. All these hiatus episodes you put out, do you still haven't got to episode 6?
We haven't. That'll be the next one, won't it? But we already have the next 2 planned, so hopefully we won't need it for a little while. But yeah, it's coming. It'll come soon.
Same Christmas, Graham.
There will be a need, I'm sure, at some point. The other ones I actually edited over when Mason was up in Ohio. I kind of edited the next few ready. So, and then he just wasn't available, so he just kind of put them out. But I did want to review IWTV 100. I wanted to show him the Marcus Mathers match, and I wanted to show him the Orange Cassidy Chris Statlander match. So that'll be this week's MGB, and then the following week's MGB are the ones that Mason picked. Death matches.
Funny that, isn't it? Funny that the teenager wants what death matches.
Yeah, they were kind of toned down ones, I would say. They're not as brutal as they could be. Certain ones I have seen on IWTV, I was like, oh no, this is a little bit too much for me.
To be fair, the Nick Gage one against Jericho was not a death match. I'm sorry.
No. He did pick one Nick Gage match, which didn't surprise me. I like watching Nick Gage matches. So
have you shown him the Christmas tree?
I don't think I have actually.
But you can show him that now, Graham.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that might be more suitable for JGB. Oh, actually, probably not. It was probably a little.
No, it's not, Graham.
It is a goofy match. It is. Oh, how about the? I could show him the first match though. I could show him the Rumble. The Swamp Monsters. That would be appropriate. As long as as long as I mute out Paige's mom, because I think she was a little bit potty mouthed, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
All right. We're over 30 minutes. Jeez, I didn't have anything. I don't think you had anything major, and somehow we managed it. What a surprise! We managed to chat for a little bit.
What a surprise! Graham can chat. All right, guys. See you next week.
Bye.